Okay, this is going to be kind of a terminology video. It's going to be something that people who have things going on in their homes and are not quite sure if anybody else has experienced that stuff, if they've ever been through a haunting before. Um, this is going to kind of let them cross-reference. This is what I didn't have when my home first became haunted last year. I didn't have this. And this is what I wanted. So I'm going to make it for somebody else. Hopefully they'll find my channel and they'll be able to go, oh, wow, okay. I can go through these points and I can identify with, 6 out of 7 or 5 out of 8 or whatever. And maybe that will help them determine what's going on in their house or in your house. So the first thing you're going to see when you're looking for other stories of people whose homes are assumed haunted, or they're pretty sure that it's haunted, or at least something's going on that they don't understand. One of the things you're going to hear is they're going to say, I was seeing things out of the corner of my eye. Now, when people say that, they don't mean a little wisp of something here, a little wisp of something there, because it happens to me every single night. When I see something move out of the corner of my eye, I'm looking at an object, a three-dimensional solid object moving. That's what it looks like. And when I look over, there's nothing there. But you can't help but look over, even though I know if I look over there, I'm more than likely not going to see anything. I look anyway, because that's how sure I am that there's something moving off to one side or the other. And it's like you'll be sitting down, looking at your phone, reading a book, watching TV, whatever it may be, and you'll swear you can see somebody walk in another room from one side of the doorway to the other. I mean, you could swear by it. But you look up and there's nothing there. That's what they mean by out of the corner of my eye, things moving out of the corner of my eye. It's a real common term. You're going to hear it a lot. The other thing is noises, bangs, tapping, scratching, especially scratching and banging. You might have mice. You might. I mean, you need to chase these noises down and either determine that it's natural or it's not natural. Now, I've had mice in my house, but when I put a trap out, I catch a mouse in 12 hours. The quickest I've ever trapped one was like 30 seconds. I put it down, I went and sat down on my computer, and bam, I heard the trap snap. It was that quick. Never have they lasted overnight, longer than overnight. Never. And I've probably trapped and killed about 20 of them in the last 3 years. Because we live out in the country, and we've got a lot of mice out here. You don't want them in your house. They carry disease. It's unhealthy. I'd love to be able to catch them and put them outside, but they've just come back in again. So the most effective way to get rid of them and to control them is to trap them and kill them. So that little public service announcement about, cruelty to mice, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is in the country. So scratching, banging, tapping, I have heard that a lot of people have said tapping in threes is mocking the Holy Trinity. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think I've ever heard them tapped in 3 times like that. And whenever I've tapped, they've never answered me. They've never tapped in response. So they just growl at me. So that's how I know they're demonic. I don't need to do the little 3-tap test. But people say they were hearing like tapping, and especially if they say they were hearing banging. Because let me explain to you what this banging is like. It's not somebody pounding their fist down on a table. It sounds and feels like somebody ran a car into your home, into the side of your house. That's what it sounds like, and that's what it feels like. Um, so that's what they're talking about when they say banging. So, sorry about that. I had to stop for a second. I thought I heard somebody pulling up outside my house. So that's what they mean by banging. It is loud, ungodly loud, and it is so unnerving. Last year, when it was happening to me a lot, I would be sitting in my den, I'd be reading a book, or I'd be on my phone, or playing with my dogs, anything, doesn't matter what. And it would come out of nowhere, and my whole house would shake, and it scared the shit out of me. And it scared my dogs. One time, I was standing in my master bath, and I heard it, and it was so loud that it not only shook the big mirror up in my bathroom, but my little female dog went straight up in the air and turned around and came down facing the other direction. That's how loud it was. And it was at any time. 9 in the morning, 2 in the morning, didn't matter. It was random, just whenever. And you'd never know it was coming. So that's what they mean by banging. It's you'll know it when you hear it. Talking. You hear people talking. You'll hear this a lot in these haunted stories, these haunted house stories. You hear people talking. And they'll always say, I could hear them talking, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. That is exactly right. You hear the voices, and it could be two distinct voices. And if you think it's coming from one room, go back to that room, and it'll be coming from another room. And you go to that room, and it'll be coming from another room. You're never going to nail it down. It's like chasing the end of a rainbow. You're never going to find it. And you can hear the voices, but you can never understand what they're saying. That's what they mean when they hear people talking. Sometimes it's humming. I've heard a woman in my bathroom humming. I heard it every single day for a couple of months, at least 2 or 3 months before my house was cleansed. She would just hum. It wasn't frightening. I mean, she was happy, but she was humming. I'd hear a woman laughing in the middle of the night. Wake up, there's somebody laughing out in my den. I go out there, nobody there. Another thing you're going to hear probably in just about every single story about someone who's living in a haunted house, footsteps. I would hear footsteps middle of the night, 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning. I would hear somebody walk, and it sounded like somebody in either hiking boots or in their sock feet stomping on my wood floors and walking back and forth in front of my bedroom door. Back and forth, back and forth. And eventually I stopped getting up to check because I knew that every time I got up and looked, there wasn't going to be anybody there. But it is unnerving in the middle of the night when you wake up and you think it's just you and your spouse or just you, and you hear somebody walking in your house and you know what it sounds like. If you've had people over at your house and you have wood floors, you know what that sounds like. So you recognize it instantly as footsteps. The other thing that was happening to me was, and I got the picture of the demon in the window, tapping on my windows. It was driving my dogs crazy. I'm hard of hearing, so they were jumping up and reacting to the windows, but I didn't know why until I got that picture. And then I realized what it was doing. And my wife's theory was that since she blessed the house up to the threshold, meaning up to the windows and doors, it could come up to the house, but it couldn't come in. And so what it was doing was tapping on the window looking for an invitation. So those are kind of some of the things that people are going to say in these videos that you watch, and I just wanted to give you an idea of what they meant when they said them. Pretty distinct. When you hear this stuff, the stuff that I've just gone over, you're going to really know that it's out of the ordinary. all of this isn't something that you'll just say, oh, well, I guess I was hearing something, or I guess it was nothing. You're never going to say that because you're going to hear it good. And like the first paranormal thing that ever happened in my house was I heard footsteps coming up the hallway to the guest bathroom where I was. And I listened to them come all the way up the hallway to the very edge of the door. And I was on my phone and I looked up because I expected my wife to come walking around the corner and she didn't. And so I walked out and looked around and I didn't see anybody. And I found her on the other side of the house still in bed asleep. But I know what I heard. And I could feel the footsteps. That's another thing. You'll feel the footsteps in the floor. You'll feel the footsteps vibrate up through your shoes. So it's tangible. It's something you can wrap your hand around. It's not just, well, I guess I heard something. You hear it and you feel it. So it's the same thing with everything else, with the humming, with the, I saw something move out of the corner of my eye. When you see that, if you think your house is haunted, you're not going to go, well, I guess I was just seeing things. You're going to know you saw something. But when you looked over, there wasn't anything there. So I hope this helps you. If maybe you have some things going on in your house and you need something to cross-reference by, that's what this video is for. It's what my whole channel is for. If you don't subscribe, if you don't comment, that's completely up to you. But if it helps you, I'm glad it helped you. I'll talk to you later.